Good afternoon, everyone. This video is brought to you by foodforliberty.com/adapt2030. You are absolutely going to need to know how to grow your own food as this grand solar minimum intensifies. Case in point, rare winter-like storm, July, Washington, D.C. It's more like a spinning nor'easter, jet streak, atmospheric compression. Second year in a row with Greenland record cold and unusual extreme snowfalls. July heat, what's that? No 90-degree days, South Bend, Indiana. U.S. weather stations down on the 100-degree mark. And looking at other places across the globe, Australia, in the beginning of July, all-time record cold. Solar hot water panels froze, expanded, and broke. Infrastructure damaged to over 200,000 units. Record snowfall in Finland, July. And we look at the Arctic, August 1st. That does not look like it's melting to me. And join me for episode number 29 of Mini Ice Age Conversations, where Bob Kudla and I discuss these crop losses that are occurring globally, as well as where the first economic contractions are going to appear in our global economy based on higher food prices. And while you're watching the video, please press the subscribe button and click the bell so you can stay subscribed and get the latest updates. Rare winter-like storm drenches Washington, D.C. just before the weekend. July 30th. It's very reminiscent of what a nor'easter looks like during the autumn and winter months. You get that cyclonic spin on it. Weather map here, that dark green is extreme rainfall. And then I look into this weather map and there's a jet streak. Talk about atmospheric compression events, atmospheric rivers. Mix-ups in our jet stream based on the grand solar minimum and these cosmic rays causing more cloud cover. And then I look at this total precipitation map. I'm baffled. It almost looks like a temperature map with record heat. Usually you would have greens like this. Washington Post actually had a nice graphic here. Shows you the yellow is the atmospheric compression ring out areas, if you will, as if buckets dumping from the sky. And then it moves offshore through the next day and a half. But these maps, if you were just skimming this article, you would look at that and think that is record heat. Why is this red and not green and blue to represent water? I don't get it. Anyway, we see the extreme low pressure and cool air at high altitude right over that area. We're starting to see these unusual weather patterns globally right now. Waterlogged, and what gets me is this Capital Weather Gang telling people to stay off the roads if you can because it's such heavy rainfall. And I shake my head and I go, Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, in cars, and they're telling them to stay off the roads because it's such heavy rainfall? Something's completely amiss on that. Speaking of being amiss, let's jump over to Greenland. Climate Central doing a rundown on despite the summer snow and record cold temperatures for the second year in a row to all-time record temperature broken in the Northern Hemisphere for cold in July, Greenland is still melting. Anyway, they have some great graphics here. The extreme snowfall in 2016, they didn't put any record cold in here on both of those, which is a trend happening that's begun in 2016. Although they do show the unusual snowfalls in July and the above normal ice accumulation. But notice in the red line, they put record warm year. They don't put the record cold year, 2016, followed by record more cold year in 2017. See how it's kind of psychological like this? You see record warm and you're still thinking, oh, 2012, just getting warmer and warmer. Yeah, they left out the record cold 2 years in a row on Greenland. So I thought I'd pull up the null school chart for today. Let's look at Greenland and the Arctic. We're told it is melting. Look how much below freezing temperatures that is up there. That entire blue mass is below freezing. And as with every year, the periphery of Greenland's ice sheet melts. But the center doesn't. And the Arctic's not melting. Guess you won't see that on the nightly news. Let's jump over to Tony Heller's site here. Average summer maximum temperatures. These are for the U.S. temperature stations. These are land-based, not satellite. Now, if we were indeed warming year upon year, we should repeat the pattern further back in the 30s and 40s, should we not? and then on to the percentage of temperature stations land-based reaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the United States. How is that so far down? Then we look at the all-time combined hottest summer temperatures, and that's just dropping off a cliff. July heat, no heat. This is South Bend, Indiana. And I like how the meteorologist Mike Hoffman, our lack of heat. Now, Mike, I don't know if you're joking because I use that in a video, lack of record heat, to talk about how the Weather Channel and the BBC was trying to explain cold, lack of heat, now the new term, instead of saying it's cold or below normal temperatures. I don't know if you're taking the piss or if you're really putting that out there. Anyway, below normal temperatures continuing well into August, South Bend, Indiana. Wide out here. Let's jump over to Finland. Not only did they break their previous snow record for July in 1963, they just shattered right through it 5 centimeters. This is July snow, and that follows right on the heels of the Siberian snowfalls in 2 different places that broke Russian records. Let's jump into the Southern Hemisphere. I've had a few of you from Australia writing and go, oh, it's warm this year. What are you talking about? It's cold down in Australia. Let's look at the all-time record cold temperatures set this year that broke records back at least 110 years. The coldest temperatures ever recorded along the East Coast and Melbourne area in Australia. News headlines, record-breaking cold weather. Australia's southeast. What's an interesting part of this is the solar hot water panels froze solid. And when they did, they expanded and the panels freeze and broke. Now, it wasn't just 1 or 2, it was hundreds of thousands. The last count I had was like 206,518 of these things. But as with all these events going on, nature presents some incredible beauty to us. Crystalline form. This is where a water pipe broke down near Melbourne in that freeze event. Look how incredibly stunning that image is. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. As you can see, there is a trend of these 100-year temperatures. This cooling of our Earth that's starting to occur. The signs are all around us, and the media is trying to do a counter operation to show you and focus on the warmth. I'll agree. Grand solar minimum is not all about a uniform cooling planet. It's about jet streams being mixed up, as we're starting to see right now. Winter storms in the middle of summer. And for the record heat, it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It's going to be hot. But the desert areas in the southeast United States are actually running about 10 to 12 degrees cooler than normal. That's Fahrenheit. Anyway, I encourage you to do your own research. I've linked everything below. And I'm also including all my cryptocurrency wallet deposit addresses for those of you who have asked other ways to send some tips instead of using Patreon.